wine, beer, seltzer, and now
I didn't like the movie.
do the wrong hand. I'm a lefty, so I hold everything in my right hand so I can be mobile.
This is Michael Orr, this is Eileen Wayne.
Be sure and watch this on
And now he's a
Spectrum Cable also,
I'm waiting for my hat.
the Cable Telecommunications Board of Northern Kentucky, filming this today.
Our dues are 120. 120.
Yeah.
$120.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, can everybody hear me? Yes. My loudspeaker microphone equipment is down. Apparently somebody stepped on my microphone. But it's, I guess there's a message in that when they step on your microphone. No, I store it back here. Pee Wee was gracious enough to give me a place to store it in. But I guess the microphone fell out and it got stepped on. It's very dark in there. So, what we will do is begin opening our meeting with a prayer. And John is going to provide that for us. We're then going to go to our Optimist Creed and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you all would join with me by standing for the Lord's Prayer, join in with me. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and all. Amen.
Promise yourself to
Be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind.
To health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there's something in them. And look sunny side of everything. Make your optimism come true. To think only of the best. To work only for the best. And to expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about success of others as you are about your own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future. To wear a cheerful countenance all the time and give every living creature you need a smile. To give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. To be large for worry, too noble to anger, too strong to fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. God bless us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, looks like our food is coming out. So, if everybody's willing, we can take a short break for lunch.
And then we'll start at lunch.
We'll start right on our program for today. As the food is being brought out, though, I have to share a little story with you that I just heard on the news this week. It's something I was not aware of, and maybe you weren't either, that President Putin and President Biden decided to get together to see if they could work their problems out on Ukraine on a very one-to-one personal note.
Thank you, ma'am.
So they was going to meet for lunch. They met for lunch. They wouldn't go on a visit. They met for lunch. And the waitress stopped over to inquire about their order for the day. And Mr. Putin was asked what he would like, the steak
I've
or the
been there
fish.
already.
And he said he would like the steak. And the waitress wanted to know about the vegetable. He said he'll have the steak too.
I like that.
That wasn't offensive to any of our liberal friends. Only Denny could get away with it.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
And the acoustics aren't the best.
were they? They were on a cruise and stopped off at night. There was another.
Well, it's a basketball gym, you wouldn't expect them to have good
acoustics.
acoustics.
My wife just on a whim decided to swim all the way out there and back. Just to look. So I was like, well, Brittany just did. What? My wife's all 5 foot nothing. And so immediately all of them turned to each other and then jumped into the water as fast as they can.
That's perfectly all right. I know, but, I know, I was addicted, so I know. It's a great place to go.
Oh, it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful event center for the prayer breakfast, it's wonderful.
Cannabis deal.
Put your hands behind your.
We've been increasing numbers lately, we're into the 45, 50 range now. We took a hit with the COVID.
They rented it out.
Oh, yeah.
Send me a bit of this speaker.
There's things related to the church stuff.
Too much going on.
Who was in town for a concert? I seen Don Felder.
And that sealed the election.
Yep.
That God sealed the election.
Yep, 20 years old, and he sealed it.
Yep. Praise the Lord.
I saw a special today on the news about the officers that were trying to get up on the roof where they heard the gunfire from.
Yeah.
They like helped the guy up.
Plates, you know, they just went out of their way to come in.
We were at our next round.
We went to Gracie. I was just speaking to a bunch of women who joined her, 3 women who joined the Heritage League.
Okay.
And they were all enthused about the Heritage League, and they do this and they do that, and I said, something else we want to do is get that state part of public.
Yeah, my SWAT team does
That was
that.
probably.
When would be a good time to back?
Well, I'll give you, oh my God.
Next week?
I come together with my new ground commander.
It's close.
I'll have him get a hold of you.
Okay, that's
People are
good.
close
Yeah.
together.
My number.
And I can just imagine that being a super spreader event. The last one we went to was Berg's event. Do you remember Berg's event?
Yeah,
Where he was the guest speaker?
is he still home?
He fell and,
Let me do
laid
this.
there for a day before anybody found him. It was a bad fall. And, they took him to the hospital. He was in the hospital.
331.
They come in the next day and,
Completely circular screen.
he was laying in the bathroom.
Wildlife.
He fell in the bathroom.
Listen, Eric, I'm at a
His phone was
Optimist
in
Club
his
meeting
bedroom.
right now.
And
I'm
he
gonna
couldn't get to his phone.
give you a number that gives
I had to
needs,
have my phone pocket.
to schedule a CPR training and demonstration for the SWAT team in
I
the
put it in my
future.
pocket. Like, yeah, for your cell phone,
Clear very
put
quickly.
it around your shoulder.
The city is retreating.
That way he's got
And
it.
then we drive by a military pull up to the gate. He faces like John over there. So you can walk in. My scapular broke today.
I've been wearing my whole life too.
I'm all rusted and ready to go.
So I got my new shade.
Space for you. You can look about what they were, their meeting now is gonna start.
Oh, here it is.
What is your name, sir?
Well, it would be Michael Dietz, will be Eric Nelson.
Oh, you're ill, oh, here.
I'm Eric, but I actually retired.
Ready to go?
James is ready. Michael, are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Has just about everybody completed their noonday nourishment?
Lunch.
Breakfast is
Lunch.
Well, it sounds a little fancier if it's noonday nourishment.
Noonday nourishment. Yeah, I finished my noonday
It's
nourishment.
not quite up there with excellent culinary repast, but it's up there.
Excellent culinary repast. You get a gold star for that one.
That's pretty good, isn't it? Sitting to my immediate right here is requested I introduce the speaker for today.
And who are you?
And my name is Denny Shelton. I'm nobody of any real importance. We meet here at Pee Wee's Place on Anderson Road. At noon on Wednesdays, where we have an excellent lunch, reasonably priced, clean restrooms. And we're also on TBNK and channel, what is the channel that is on? Here we go. channel, Spectrum Channel 203, and Ultra Fiber at 8:15. Thursdays at 8 p.m. rebroadcast on TBMK. Our speaker today is Michael Orr. He's a fine fellow that's a development director at Brighton Center. Michael joined Brighton Center's leadership team in January of 2024. So it's gonna be quite a while before he gets his 50-year pin. With extensive service in the field of development with higher education, Michael oversees fundraising, major and planned giving, marketing, communications, events, and Brighton Center's junior board. Previously, Michael was a director of development for Gateway Community College, oversaw donor and alumni relations for Sinclair Community College, and worked in an international advancement at Thomas More University. He is an alumnus of Bishop Fenwick High School in Middletown, Ohio, where he hung out with JD fans and other famous people. You didn't know I was gonna throw that one in, did you?
I figured you might.
So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving an authentic welcome
See my way out of here.
to Michael Orr. Now I gotta tell you this, my Jerry box back here, that still works, but apparently somebody stepped on my microphone, so I gotta get another one. So, Michael, you have to speak very loudly.
I have 15 years of theater experience, and I know nothing if not how to project. So,
By golly!
Praise the
you all are
Lord.
extremely unlucky. If we have extra time, I'll do a soliloquy, but that's only for very bad,
I wanna hear
because
a
I also
soliloquy.
will be very bad. Thank you all so much for letting me join you here today. I am Michael Orr, Development Director. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm so happy to be here with you today and to share a bit about Brighton Center and the community of support that we provide to Northern Kentucky and our whole region. To start, are folks here in the room familiar with Brighton Center? Do people know about Brighton Center? Well, great. So I don't have to start from scratch. I will be running through this PowerPoint. So just as a brief introduction for those that might not know, our mission is to create opportunities for individuals and families to reach self-sufficiency. Our goal is to provide people with the supports, the services, and the resources to provide for themselves meaningfully and to move towards their hopes and dreams. We do that through family support services, providing opportunities for education, providing opportunities for employment, and providing leadership for the community as a whole. And then providing people with the opportunity to learn about and attain leadership for themselves, whatever that means for them. We do that by serving the entire spectrum of Northern Kentucky, from the beginning of life. We even serve mothers and parents prenatally, all the way to serving older adults and providing spaces for them to live in affordable housing that lets them age gracefully in place. And along the way, we serve infants, children, young adults through leadership programs, families through providing support services, and education work as well. Last year alone, we impacted the lives of 24,986 individuals across 45 different programs that include everything from youth care and education to housing needs to workforce development, everything in between, all the way up to providing living situations for folks as well. In fact, I actually just did this math fairly recently. So we served 24,986 individuals. If any of you are familiar with the musical Rent, there's a song in there that says that there's 525,600 minutes in a year. So I did the math, and roughly speaking, on average, we serve a new person about every 21 minutes in a year. Every 21 minutes, Brighton Center roughly serves someone new. And people say, well, what about late in the evening? Well, it is gathered during the day, but we have a homeward bound youth shelter that is available for youths 24 hours a day. So there could be a youth in crisis that needs a safe place to go to escape a bad situation at 3 o'clock in the morning, and Brighton Center is there for them, and they are that 21 minutes. We have a recovery center for women in Florence, Kentucky, and people can come in off of the street or come in intentionally with family and say, I need help, and I've made the decision to go look for it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's Brighton Center being there for them in that 21 minutes. And we have employment opportunities as well, and people coming in and say, I have decided to put my career first and I want to find an opportunity to get back to work. and that's that person for that 21 minutes. And so we do that every 21 minutes throughout the year. So I think that's just a nice little encapsulation for what we do. You could take FC Cincinnati Stadium and fill it with the people that we serve every year. And so our vision is to be an innovative leader that strengthens the vitality of the community, engages people as they work, and go through them with their lives as they achieve their hopes and dreams. We are entirely built around the idea that the community knows what their hopes and dreams are, and they know what their needs are best, and we are here to provide them the supports to achieve them. We were founded in 1966 on the corner of Brighton and 8th Street. We originally started as a youth outreach program there because we saw a massive influx from Appalachian communities as they were coming to work in the steel industry and in the iron industry of northern Kentucky. During that time, you have a lot of teenagers coming into a new community, maybe away from their original community for the first time. And between the hours of 3 p.m. when they get off of school and 5 p.m. when their parents get off of work, what do teenagers do?
Get in trouble.
Well, they do get into trouble, unless you provide them with something concrete and meaningful to do inside of that time. Brighton Center was created as an after-school program to provide that support to the children in Newport, Kentucky and Greater Cincinnati. From there, we started to see that there were other opportunities for us to engage. Hey, it's not just the kids that have needs. When their parents come and pick them up, we learn more about what their parents' needs are as well. And so we started getting involved in community organizing as well to provide advocacy for communities on the west side of Newport. From there, we continued to grow. And in 1968, we worked with Catherine Spalding College to do our first community assessment. Every 4 years, except for I think maybe one exception in our 58-year history, Brighton Center goes out and asks the community intentionally, what are your hopes and dreams and what are the barriers that you are seeing to accomplishing them? And we take all of that data and we put it together to create our strategic plan. We started doing that in 1968, and I can tell you for a fact that is way before it started being cool to go do community assessments for nonprofits. We were ahead of the curve. So we started out with that in mind on the streets of downtown Newport, and we have since grown by listening to our community, by growing with their needs, to now have 45 programs across a variety of unique different service areas that provide for those needs and are adaptable as we continue to grow and serve Northern Kentucky as it grows and changes. I am talking fast. Is everybody okay? Does anyone have questions so far? There's a Q&A period after this, right?
That's correct.
So I can just blow through this presentation.
You got 10 minutes of Q&A.
Let's go. What is our geographical reach? We serve all of the 8-county region of Northern Kentucky, and we do have the ability to serve people in Hamilton County, Ohio. The majority of our physical locations are in Campbell County and Kenton County, but we do have physical locations in Boone, Pendleton, Grant, Owen, and Carroll. Most of those are career center access points, but we also have our Brighton Recovery Center for Women in Boone County in Florence, Kentucky. We have our Center for Employment Training on the east side of Newport. We have our administrative building, which is next to our family center, which provides a lot of our emergency services for people if we have a food pantry there. And then we also have our Homeward Bound shelter in Covington, Kentucky for youth that are in crisis. That provides a positive place and a safe place for them to stay. They can come to us anytime, day or night, 24 hours a day, anyone under the age of 18. What do we do and why? Through our community of support, we partner with individuals and families. And we're very intentional about that language. We believe that people are the driver of their own mission and of their own journey. In fact, we were very intentional years ago about figuring out what we call the people that we serve. We very intentionally chose the name customers. Why? Because customers have choice, customers are empowered, and the customer knows their own situation and needs best. And so we're very intentional about working with people, not on them. We recognize that the challenges that families and communities face are complex, and that we need to create a comprehensive approach to what we do. Very rarely, and I think you guys would see this in your own lives, is there ever just one problem that needs to be solved. There's always cascading issues around any given issue. A mother trying to re-enter the workforce has to deal with childcare, has to deal with transportation, has to deal with housing, especially if they're a single mother, or they're leaving a relationship that may have been dangerous for them. And so we take a comprehensive approach to looking at the entirety of the community, seeing what the issues are in place and where the resources exist for us to collaborate, partner, and grow, better serve the people that we live around every single day across our 45 programs. So we think about this as an opportunity for partnership across all of our programs and with a large number of external partners as well to create that comprehensive community of support to make sure that no one falls through the cracks. We do that with, again, the intended goal of building self-sufficiency for people. It starts right, is everyone here familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Self-sufficiency is right at the top. We want people to reach self-sufficiency. That's where they would put self-realization on the original chart. To do that, you have to have a sense of security, basic needs, food, water, shelter. Let's make sure you have access to those. From there, we start to build skills. We teach people skills through our Center for Employment Training, our Workforce Development Division. We have a Youth Leadership Development Program, which provides after-school programming going right back to our original roots in the 60s. That provides children with a safe place to learn, grow, develop leadership skills, and start to learn about different career paths as we teach them and work with different partners to learn more about our programs and job opportunities that we have throughout Northern Kentucky. From there, we go on to helping them build for their future. Let's stabilize, let's learn, and then let's grow. So we do that by helping them to manage day-to-day living and then build financial assets. We have a housing and well-being division that is focused on providing people with the education and the tools to begin doing things like providing for themselves for financial situations, learning how to budget for themselves, teaching people how to save for a down payment on a car, on a house, providing them assistance to do that, and then giving them access to the tools to go do that. One of the other things that I think is the most exciting for me as a young man who recently became a homeowner for the first time, now we get to see other people go to the closing on homes that they never thought they would be able to do on their own because of Brighton Center's assistance. We do this all because we are responsive to our community. Every 4 years we conduct our community assessment, and that determines our strategic plan. And that is renewed every 4 years, starting in 1968. We go out and conduct usually between 600 and 800 individual interviews with people across Northern Kentucky's communities. And these are comprehensive, paper-written, handwritten interviews that last between an hour and an hour and a half per individual to learn what their needs are, what their hopes for their children are, and what their hopes for their community is. We combine that with local, regional, state, and national data that we process to create a comprehensive plan that captures not just what the needs are now, but what we project the needs will be into the future. And so for this past strategic plan, we ended up focusing on 4 key areas: our core, our capacity, our community, and our culture, as the different areas that our programs fit into, and each one of our programs can address directly. And so what are the outcomes of that? Well, we surveyed 600 people. We did that across a variety of different age, demographics, and location spectrums, and we found that they had their 3 long-term top goals. Number 1, overall, for all of our respondents, was owning a home. Number 2 was advancing in a career, identifying not just a job, but a career for themselves to grow in, and eliminating debt and improving credit, because that's what leads to the stability that allows for families to grow wealth and grow in a culture and in a sense of place without having to move. Key partnerships that we identified, respondents need to achieve those hopes and dreams. They need to know where resources are. So we re-centered our family center as a connection point where people can come in to receive services, learn about what's available, and access services like our Bright Days Early Childhood Education Center house, which provides stable housing for senior parents, as well as an on-site early childhood education center, so that parents have a place to live in a gated community where they're safe and secure. They can pursue degrees while also working, and then also have on-site child care for people. We provided that starting in 2015. We actually just celebrated our 100th degree and certificate earned by students that live there. That's just one of the many accomplishments that we have recently. We help people manage budgeting and income. We have a VITA tax service that we work with every year to help people file their taxes effectively to get the maximum return. We also have budget sessions where we help people learn financial skills. If you were not taught how to budget by your parents, how are you going to learn on your own unless you have someone that is present to teach you? So we're teaching people vital skills to maintain, again, that baseline foundation of self-sufficiency. We also provide a lot of work in the area of quality, affordable housing. We've collaborated with a large number of partners to help be a part of a massive study of housing across Northern Kentucky, where we're trying to identify what the housing capacity is, what it needs to be, and then use that to help create a plan, right, for what we can do to address housing needs. We also own properties, especially properties that are age restricted for older adults, so that people can live and age gracefully in place without having to worry about the stability of their living situation, which we know is a problem in our area. We want people to have that stability as they age. We also provide housing, like I said, for single parents as well, at an affordable level so that they can begin to get their feet underneath them as they learn skills, grow into jobs, and provide more and more for their families and the families that live in our community around us. And then we provide education and training across a variety of programs. Everything from our Center for Employment Training, which is an accredited post-secondary educational institute that is available to people to start anytime, rather than, one of the things that we actually saw was that start dates for colleges and universities can provide a barrier, especially to people that are out of the workforce, to begin taking classes. And so we made a program that is completely debt-free. People can enter in anytime. We have degree programs in medical assisting, HR training, and then we're also looking at adding programs in tech as well in the future. So people can walk into our door and we can get them started that week on getting a certificate so that they can get back into the workforce. We have individual graduations for those because it's on a rolling basis. People complete in their own time. And that means that every graduation, we call it a clap out, and the entire community gathers around to clap them out, and you graduate when you get employed. So it's just an incredible, incredible moment. They get to give a speech. Often there's tears. It's a wonderful moment for us to see that progress towards someone making a real accomplishment in their own life and empowering themselves to reach a goal. Like I said, our strategic plan is built around core, capacity, culture, and community. We do that by focusing on the customer voice first and foremost, listening and being responsive. We do that by having strategic partnerships throughout our community as we collaborate with dozens, if not hundreds, of other organizations to make sure that we have a complete picture of where resources are. One, so that we don't duplicate other people's efforts, but two, so that if we don't provide something, we know where to direct everybody and have relationships established there. We are an employer of choice. We rely heavily on volunteers. If anyone is interested in volunteering with us, we have an amazing volunteer team. We support over 1,800 volunteers a year between large groups, company groups, and individual volunteers that bring their skills to individual programs and opportunities. So I would encourage you to talk to me after this speech if you're interested in volunteering with us. But we focus again on housing, workforce development, digital literacy, early childhood and youth development. We focus on the voice that we use, the approach that we take to giving it to people, and how we consider leadership for within our organization and then pass that back out of our organization. How am I doing on time?
Probably another 5 minutes.
Okay, great. What is our approach? We start with customer voice. We assess the whole family. Brighton Center is built on a model of what we call the two-generation approach. The idea being that we inherit a lot of what we learn from our parents, and our children will reflect a lot of what they learn from us. So to make a meaningful change in the trajectory of a family's life, it is important to affect both generations at the same time. I think something that I hear often is that when we hear about education, we talk about the struggles that children face, and then they say, well, they go home and we don't know what their home situation is like. We take the approach that if you affect the lives of the parents, you affect the lives of the children. And if you affect the lives of the children, you affect the lives of the parents. And so we have operations like I described, Scholar House, where you have a living situation for parents that may not have had access to housing, they may have been unhoused, with small children as a single parent. We provide them housing, comprehensive case management, access to education, help building a resume for work, and at the same time, their children are receiving high-quality 3-star early childhood education programs where they are safe, cared for, fed, and supported in their early education. And I'm very pleased to say that our early childhood education programs have a kindergarten readiness rate of 90%.
Wow.
Now, I know that that is not true for the state of Kentucky. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I think it is quite a bit lower than that. So our programs are successful, and they set families up for multi-generational change. We're interested not just in affecting the individual lives of parents and their children, but we're interested in changing the trajectories of families in northern Kentucky over time, so that their grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren will continue to benefit from what they learned and gained from communication with Brighton Center. We do that by building social capital. It's about relationships, not just for the individual with us, but knowing how to build relationships in the community so that they can continue to access those things for themselves. Again, self-sufficiency isn't about being an island. It's about knowing where to go when you need help and no one who has that help, whether that's your neighbor, your uncle, or Brighton Center staff. We want people to feel that they are empowered and have the self-esteem to go look for help when they need it. And we do that by bundling services, by modeling it for ourselves. Our 45 programs are intimately connected with each other. I would say that the vast majority of people that come to us for one need end up accessing a variety of services. Like I said, it's very rarely one problem. And so we like to say at Brighton Center that there's no wrong door to enter in. Women that come to our Brighton Recovery Center in Florence seeking help for addiction recovery often have children. Well, let's get them hooked up with our early childhood education programs so that they have a stable place to live. If they have caretakers while those women are in that program, we can make sure that they have access to safe, affordable housing. We can provide them with resources to look at budgeting for themselves, so that when the mother returns from that situation, she is prepared. She will be going through financial training at the same time while she's in recovery. And so again, it's about that comprehensive look. That's as true for people that come in looking for help from our food pantry. We ask them questions about what their financial situation, their medical situation, their housing situation is like. And all of that is connected through Brighton Center so that we can teach people not just how to access services through us, but to build the tools to grow that network for themselves along the way. We do that by continuous quality improvement. Let's call it our CQI process. I know you love acronyms. But our CQI process is really about never being satisfied with anything as it stands right now. Continuously focusing on best practices and seeing what is happening in our region and nationally as we benchmark what we do against how it can be done other places. And then seeing where the room for improvement is. We have a comprehensive background data service. It's a Salesforce platform that we built, and essentially that allows us to create the profiles. When people come in, we collect their data on who they are demographically. That helps us network where they should go with those services. That's spread to all of our programs. They're all in there together, which means that when people go seek other services in Brighton Center, they don't have to go through an enrollment process over and over again, which can be time-consuming, taxing, and very stressful for individuals that have to share their story about why they're suffering over and over again. It also means that we're able to network those connections between programs very thoroughly so that they have access to everything that they need. And we do that with strategic partnerships and a strength-based approach. We start with every individual and really try and dig down and assess what their individual strengths are. Let's start there with what we can build upon, what they can grow through, and then we'll provide the support for the rest of it as they focus on their strengths. How am I doing on time now?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. We already talked about our comprehensive family-centered approach a little bit, but again, we offer emergency assistance. That can be the front door. Affordable housing needs, quality child care education, financial coaching and education, job training for parents and youth, career coaching to help people find the right career path for themselves and identify what their future hopes and dreams can be, all with that goal, that singular goal that individuals can reach self-sufficiency for themselves, their children, their family, and on a larger scale for our community itself. Over the years, we've had a variety of impacts. This is for fiscal year 23. We actually just rolled over into our new fiscal year, so bear with me a bit. But we served 6,000 plus individuals with tangible goods and food. 214 children went through our Bright Days and Early Scholars Child Development Center. 95% of those students that attended for 12 months were assessed as age-appropriate in cognitive and language skills. That is a huge step up for them as they enter their education. What else on here do we want to talk about? 5,000 plus individuals received employment services through the Kentucky Career Center that we helped to operate as a partner. 587 individuals received assistance with tax preparation through volunteer income tax assistance. Every year we provide that service free of charge to people. So if you don't want to do your taxes and you don't have a CPA, come talk to us. We will help you. That resulted in more than $649,000 in combined tax returns back out to those individuals, which can be vital for families as they're trying to make financial decisions for the future. We helped 140 individuals participate in employment and skills training through our Center for Employment Training. 92% of the people that completed that graduated and went on immediately into work. And we also have a program called Trades to Success. That came out of our strategic assessment a few years ago as well. The idea being that we have a great need for trades-related jobs in our region. Plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, carpenters. We also see that there is a large number of people that are out of the workforce right now, but that don't know how to access these trades. Well, rather than asking them to participate in a full semester-long or year-long program, we created a 3-week-long pre-apprenticeship program that essentially takes them on a tour of the trades. So people that are not in the workforce now get an idea and can say, and it's one of the most important things, again, I'm coming from education, there is a moment that happens where you see someone look at a skill and say, I could do that. We want to provide as many I could do that moments as possible. Trades to Success provides people with a comprehensive overview of what trades and trade employment is like in our region. And so through that, in the past year, 49 individuals participated in the pre-apprenticeship program and are now actively engaged in that trade, whether that's in an apprenticeship or directly into work in their field, or now taking a program in an associate's at Gateway Community College or one of the Ensweiler Institute or other trades-related education institutions in our region. I got like 2 seconds. Okay.
Wrap it up.
Social enterprises. Businesses are an important part of what we do, so we created a few to help support the community. We have a thrift store, Thrifting on Eastern. If Goodwill seems a little expensive to you, it certainly seems expensive to single mothers that have to put 3 kids in clothes for school. We created a thrifting store so that people can go and buy clothes in bulk, and all of the profits go back to support our family center. We have a catering company run out of our Brighton Recovery Center. We had a full industrial kitchen because we need to serve 108 people meals every day. We said, why not turn it into a business? We are now the caterer of choice at 2 different event venues, and we serve meals to hundreds of businesses across the country or across the region on a 24-hour basis every year. If you would like to throw an event, we do weddings, we do baby showers, we do everything in between. If you have a birthday party or a retirement party, call center table. Their cookies are absolutely fantastic, and their charcuterie boards are gorgeous. I just ordered one for tonight. I could talk for ages about our leadership team. The only thing I'll say at this point is that Wanda Winkler, our president and CEO, has 30 years of experience at Brighton Center. Collectively, for our executive leadership team, they have 100+ years experience at Brighton Center. We hire from within and we promote from within because we know the value of learning the comprehensive whole of our programs, and they provide incredible leadership. Our board of trustees is absolutely phenomenal. They are an incredible group of individuals that provide time, talent, and support for all of our programs and set that strategic course with our strategic plan. And that is supported by Brighton Properties, which manages all of our property locations. We have 17 different locations. We have 309 beds and bedrooms that we actively support and manage, and they oversee all of that for us. And then I would just end by saying that we would love to have your involvement. We would love to have your support. If you're interested in making a monetary donation to us as a whole or any one of our programs, volunteer with us, get involved by supporting a fundraiser for us, or just come out and see what we do on a day-to-day basis. I would be happy to talk further. I know I've gone a bit over time. I'm so grateful for your time, and thank you so much for allowing me to share about Brighton Center's community of support.
Very good. We're going to take a short break. Write your questions down, and you'll have 10 minutes of question and answer session. Thank you so much.
I provided you all with packets here today. If you look inside of this packets, we have our annual impact report that has a full explanation of our funding and finances, both our revenue and our expenditures, and how we fund our programs. I'll say briefly that this work does not happen if we have an unstable funding source, and so we have quite a diversified way of funding our organization through philanthropic dollars, which I oversee from a fundraising capacity. We also have an incredibly strong grants team that applies for grants at the national level, state level, local level, and with private nonprofits and foundations as well, which provides a large portion of what we do. We also cooperate with organizations in the state to be a provider of services, and so there is a fee-for-service model built into some components of some of our programs as well. And then, of course, I did show you that we have our social enterprises, which act as full businesses, and the profits from those businesses go back in to support the work of the individual departments that they serve. There is much more depth into that question, but generally speaking, we are funded by philanthropic dollars, investment from the community, a deep collaboration with the United Way. We are a United Way organization from way back. And then a lot of funding from federal, state, and local grant funding organizations. I hope that answers the question to your hope. Next up, do you have a contact with St. Elizabeth? You better believe it. We are deeply tied to St. Elizabeth in a variety of ways. Members of St. Elizabeth sit on both our board and our junior board. We collaborate with them on training for things like our medical assisting program out of our Center for Employment Training. We refer people to medical services. We are not clinicians. We do not provide clinical services, so we work directly with medical services in our region as well. They often will bring back, their mammogram bus or different medical service buses as well, and we collaborate directly with them as well as NKY Health to provide access to medical services for free at our locations throughout our region as well. And we have worked with them on a variety of different capacities. In fact, our thrift store that we opened, Thrifting on Eastern, just a couple of years ago, was a collaboration with St. Elizabeth Hospital. It's actually right across from the old hospital down, is it in Latonia or is it just right by
It's Eastern
Latonia?
Avenue.
That's right, Eastern Avenue. So they had a building across the street and they said, we are not going to use this building. We set up a relationship with them to buy the building for $1 contract and turn it into a thrift store to help people in our community better access clothing and home goods in a location that really needs it. And now, Brighton Properties just renovated the top floor of that building and turned it into affordable housing for a family that was unhoused at the time, and now made it a 3-bedroom affordable property that is now occupied by a family that wouldn't have been housed otherwise. So yes, to answer your question, we are deeply tied and connected to St. Elizabeth, and we are so glad for their support. How does an individual in need get directed to Brighton Center? Great question. You all should go home and tell them about it. First of all, there is no wrong front door for Brighton Center. As well as development, I oversee marketing as well. A big part of my job is making sure that Brighton Center is visible in our community, both through physical advertising, the pieces that we produce. We produce 3 magazines a year. You have a couple of editions in this folder as well. We call them our spotlights, as well as our annual impact report, which shows our services and provides stories from the people that we have served, so that people know what we provide, and it acts as a tool both for the community, but also for those that might be in need. People can walk into most of our services any day a week, and so, a lot of them are 9 to 5 for the weekday, but some of our emergency services are open 24 hours a day. Go to our website, which is probably the easiest first access point, and we have opportunities on there for people to sign up for services or to have people reach back out to them as well. So there's a large number of different ways for people to find Brighton Center. The area that you serve is the same as the Northern Kentucky Area Development District. Do you work closely with them? You better believe we do. So I mentioned earlier that we were working with fellow organizations on a housing study for the region. Northern Kentucky Ag was instrumental and in fact led that program to create that assessment for housing in Northern Kentucky. They have been an intimate partner for us across a variety of different aspects of what we do, how we plan for the future, and how we look at the scope of our work in Northern Kentucky. Elementary and high school students have had a terrible mental health crisis or mental health issues in the last 5 years. Yes, indeed they have. Are you working on those? Absolutely we are. Mental health issues have become an absolute crisis, as you said, over the past 5 years. I think it's been a crisis for longer than that, but we're really seeing that amp up, and recognition of it has become more kind of public and more widely talked about. Aspects of mental health are worked into all of our youth programming, especially for our youth leadership development program that focuses on middle schools and high schoolers that don't have relationships with after-school services. So these are kids that are not in a club or a sport after school. These are kids that don't have access or that could afford to go to something like a summer camp. We provide after-school programming for them and a variety of activities through the year to keep them engaged and occupied and develop those skills. One of the skills that we work on a lot is building up your personal mental health skills, recognizing signs and symptoms of mental health for themselves, and then helping them realize how to connect to resources once they recognize those needs. We also do a lot of that work in our parenting side. We have Early Childhood's Every Child Succeeds, which is a program for early childhood education that actually starts with parents prenatally, while the mother is still pregnant, working with them in their home with home visitors to help them set the standards for what good parenting can look like. They set individual goals for the parents as well as individual goals for the infants once they're born. And some of those goals are built around mental health for the parents so that they can pass those skills on to their children as they go. We have another program which is home visitors for parents of preschool youngsters. And that, again, is focused on recognizing early signs of mental health issues in the family, but again, with the parents as well. 2 generations. These things model each other, and they grow over time. So yes, mental health is built into all of the aspects of what we do. We provide seminars to these youths as well, and across a lot of our programs. So yes, there's a lot of different ways mental health is a part of what we do.
Question on that.
Yes.
I'm the county sheriff.
Yes.
Thomas Crooks, if he'd have been involved in a program of that nature, that shooting Saturday wouldn't have had.
I don't know that I can speak to Thomas Crooks specifically, but I think that we can say that youth are having a mental health crisis.
I've been studying this all weekend.
Yeah.
His background was abuse by fellow students for 13 years, things of
Sense
that
of
nature.
disconnection, lack of community.
You can imagine what his outlook in life was.
Right.
Uh,
And the way that he saw
How do you
himself
get,
and his
how do
fellow
you get a
man.
hold of somebody like that to give them treatment?
Well, it depends on how they enter our programs, because people.
Well, they're not, somebody like that is not gonna be involved in a program like that unless somebody finds out they need it.
Right. I would say youth leadership development is a program that is actively seeking youths that are unconnected and providing space for them to give them access to opportunities to build community, to build those schools, and to recognize those things from early on. We also work a lot with what we call opportunity youth, which are youth that don't necessarily have access to stable housing, might be coming from an unhealthy home situation, and we provide opportunities for them. We have a new program that opened up, I think just 2 years ago in collaboration with Northern Kentucky University. It's called Opportunity House. They gave us a building on their campus for us to create a dormitory, and so youth age, I think 18 to 24 now can go to NKU, sign up for our program. They receive dormitory at no charge. They get to live on campus. They have access to all of NKU's resources. They get an ID card for NKU, and they're allowed to pursue a degree or program at any institution that they desire in our region. So we have students at NKU, at Gateway, I believe one is at Purdue. One of them actually is pursuing a master's in law right now, or that was at Scholar House. But they are all doing that with comprehensive casework. So they have a caseworker that's assigned to them, and that way they have the opportunity to recognize and deal with issues and provide support for those programs.
If you don't have the cooperation of the public school system, the teachers and so on, there's nothing you can do with them.
Well, and we are working.
They dropped the ball completely on that kid.
And unfortunately, there are cases where students don't get addressed, but we are working closely with our public schools, as well as our private schools in the region, but really with the focus on our public schools to make sure that they know about our programming, can direct students to it, and have access so that we don't see cases like this more in the future.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It gave me a chance to spout off, thank you.
You're very welcome. What else we got? How am I doing on time?
1 minute for closing remarks.
1 minute for closing.
How can we contact you?
You can contact me by reaching me at the information in here. I also have business cards that I can pass out after if you are willing to.
And the people on TV.
And the people on TV can reach us at brightencenter.com. If you'd like to make a gift to support Brighton Center, you can do that at brightencenter.com as well. We really appreciate and rely on community funding to make sure that these programs are supported adequately so that we can be adaptive, so that we can be creative, and so that we can provide support for people at every stage of life along their continuous journey towards self-sufficiency.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
On the
There
count
we
of
go.
1, 2, 3.
My phone didn't went dead on you.
Went somewhere else.
8500.
Do it again.
All right, hold on a minute. Everybody stay.
Every time I touch one of them
See there,
screens,
it goes here. Oh, the thing keeps changing itself. You know, I keep updating on me like I want to have the updates for. Okay, here we go.
Okay, smile, you're on candid camera.
at least put a couple
Yeah,
blocks
yeah,
in
all
it.
right.
One more.
Rigging around.
Perfect.
Thank you, all right. Thank you,
Very
Wade.
good.
I'll hold it, one more.
I love the purposes here, this thing covers everything you do.
I love when it's
And I'm a big
I like the
person
natural
of
pose.
engagement.
Natural pose.
Well, we're aligned.
Yeah, I went to.
Sure, that was a great question, by the way.
I'm basically the program.
Mental health issues, mental health issues is very important.
Kids are having
Everybody on.
And high school kids that have terrible
And
problems.
I am on council, but
I said
am
elementary and high
there
school
because I want to be a voice for people.
One of my
It's
projects.
about giving people the opportunities and the tools to engage. Self-sufficiency. That's what we're here for.
I'm gonna take you home.
You know what is wrong? I really thank you.
Goodness, I think somebody's gonna grab you and take you far away. Somebody's so good.
They're gonna have to drag me kicking and screaming. I came down to Northern Kentucky because I fell in love with the region. I went to Thomas More University on a college visit. I wasn't even supposed to go visit Thomas More. They treated me like I said, there's something about this place, and I realized it's Northern Kentucky.
You're the life of the party.
This is what we're here for.
Right.
I mean,
How does your wife handle it?
Oh, she keeps me busy, let me tell you. But no, I came down here, went to college, fell in love with the place, fell in love with the girl, and now I'm in Northern
You're
Kentucky.
from Northern Kentucky?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
She actually, her grandparents live right off Sleepy Hollow, right down here.
And he,
Hills or, Covington or-
It's
Raleigh?
I think it's Fort
Wright.
Fort Wright.
Absolutely, yeah.
Might be 2 weeks because the
and he,
stuff we have in the law.
and he knows the answer to the question, are you
That's probably
ready?
the safe.
Better believe it.
You're ready, aren't you? Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Give your life to Jesus, we all do that, yeah. Well, hang this in your, put this somewhere. Oh,
Or I guess we're doing photos again.
take a look.
Yeah, that was how I got to know
Take a
you.
look here, get a good picture of Wayne here with us.
Gotcha.
Right.
Can we sing now, or?
He does.
You can sing anytime you want to.
You singing?
Oh, I
Come
sing.
back and see us anytime.
He's great.
Are you?
You are so beautiful to me.
Oh, you got the sustain.
You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I
Still got the pipes,
need.
man.
You are so beautiful to God.
Amen to that.
God bless you and God bless Brighton Center.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your help. Travels with Dr. John Stevenson here at the Optimus Club meeting. Mighty fine young man here from Brighton Center.
It's adjourned. Maybe not officially, but
It's
the
over.
meeting is adjourned.
Everybody's going home.
Now, where's all the cash donated?
I knocked myself. But I got, like, I forgot to put my apartment number in there.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is wonderful.
And I said, okay, that's it. That's it, you're done. So we graduated the kids. Then we moved down to West Carolina and took one of the 3 children with us. And so then we wanted to go into this master's degree. I said, I don't care what you do. I was working full time. I said, you go for it, man. So I got a master's degree.
What's your master's?
www.begonneson.com, www.godspeaks.biz, www.jstevenson.com, 859-750-0000.
See you, Linda.
And email at smalljsmallS750-0000 at gmail.com. God bless you all. Have a great day. Travels with Dr. John Stevenson on YouTube and Facebook.
Just kind of pointed towards you.
Yeah,
There you go. How you doing, John?
doing pretty good for an old country boy. I was glad to be at the Optimus Club meeting today and hear Mr. Orr speak at the Brighton Center. And just wanted to say to folks, it's very important that we all realize. Now, if we come on by, then you're fine. Come right on by. If we get in the picture a little bit, that's okay, because you're a wonderful lady.
I don't wanna do that.
Anyway, Travels with Dr. John Stevenson here on YouTube and Facebook. You can reach us at 875-750-0000 at gmail.com, or you can reach us at begottenson.com or www.godspeaks.biz. But whatever you do, keep in mind everybody that needs assistance today in the wonderful Optimus Club show today and program today. You will enjoy it, and so do I. John Stevenson here, the old country boy, former superintendent of education, Commonwealth of Kentucky. God bless you.
God bless.
Here's my videographer, and your name is?
Douglas Lee Wegger,
And you do a great job coming here and helping the Optimus Club.
class of UK 1983.
And I was a class of UK 1970.
There you go.
That's right.
Who's younger, me or you?
We're both young.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
$1 burger and a bunch of cookies.
And it goes like this. Now, Billy Preston wrote this song, and he sang it in his mother's little church the first time it was sung. And it goes like this. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to God. And you all are beautiful to God. And God bless you. Nice to meet you. John Stevenson here, former superintendent of education for the whole state of Kentucky.
We're retired, well, she's
Teachers?
retiring.
I retired this next spring.
Where'd you teach in Cincinnati?
Campbell County.
Campbell County. Oh, wonderful.
So
Did
is
you
that
know
a
Jimmy
teacher's
Guyman?
retirement?
I know his name, yeah.
Hey, well, that was my nephew.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
And I used to say to him all the time while he was alive, he'd call me up and I'd say, "Are you ready for some football?" Come right on the head, man. I was just singing this with these lovely ladies here.
Call him a truck.
I know. Well, that's really neat. Well, I taught at Erlanger Lloyd and I taught at Campbell County some too.
Yeah.
I was a substitute teacher there. And you know, one of the reasons I subbed in Greater Cincinnati, I subbed in Campbell County, Boone County, Kenton County, Covington, and Beechwood. I wanted to see what all the schools were like and going on so I would know all the way from the first grade to the 12th grade. And when I ran for superintendent of education for the state of Kentucky, I knew what every teacher was having to put up with. And it made me a much better superintendent back in 1992. And I think I played a great role in getting teacher salaries raised because the Kentucky Education Association gave me the first award as the outstanding citizen in the state of Kentucky promoting public education. So I really felt good about that and helping out. Did you all teach too, did you?
Yeah, I taught. She was big.
I was a paraeducator.
And where was that at?
Same thing.
Campbell County. Oh, wonderful. Well, I can't wait to get home and tell my wife, June Guyman Stevenson. She kept her maiden name.
Yeah.
Lived in Fort Thomas and went to Highlands High School. I was an old Simon Kenton graduate and married up in the world. And then I went on to graduate from UK in 1970, and she graduated from Northern and became a social worker. No, she was a social worker. Worked and she was the first aide social worker for the health department in Northern Kentucky. And we're both now getting ready to celebrate our meeting date. We met in July the 28th, 1985. And ever since that day, the Lord told her, "There goes your husband out the door." Took me 4 years to convince her God was right. But she did marry me in 1989, and I took off on our honeymoon, and you can see it all on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
12 countries in Europe. You all take care. Nice to meet you. Have a great day, and thanks for your teaching service. This is Brighton Center. We're trying to help them out a little
I can tell
bit.
you came out of an optimist meeting.
Yeah, I'm an old optimist.
You're a very optimistic person.
Yes, well, I am. Well, God bless you and have a great day. Thank you for letting me entertain you a little bit.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Here at Pee Wee's Restaurant, where we all have fun. Everybody loves somebody sometime. Makes no difference when or where or how. Everybody loves somebody sometime. It's Pee Wee's time, here in the restaurant's time right now. God bless you all and have a great day. Now, where do you all come from?
Just like him. Well, I'm your neighbor.
Oh, is that right? On McCullum Pike? Yeah, I live at 38 McCullum Road. Married to the most wonderful woman in the world.
Yes, she is a sweetheart. And I go to Oak Ridge.
Oh, Oak Ridge Baptist. Well, Randy Wallace and I, we sing at the homeless shelter every fourth Friday at Fairhaven for 30 years. We've been doing that. 30 years. Randy Wallace is an outstanding man. Christian man and a great minister there at Oak Ridge Baptist Church. But I always tell him, now Randy, you know, my mom named me after John the Baptist. But being Baptist won't stop you from sinning, but it will stop you from enjoying it. You all take care. You all from territory around here too, are you?
Burlington.
Burlington? Okay, wonderful. Well, I was in the JCs there in Boone County for 20 years. Yep, they're outstanding young man 2 years in a row, and one in the state of Kentucky. I love the people in Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties. I used to work for them all when I was with Congressman John Breckinridge, his field representative years ago. Then later I went on to be superintendent of education for the whole state of Kentucky. The last elected one, yes, in 1992. Oh, your teachers. What'd you teach? What grade? Third grade? That's my sister Barbara. She taught the fourth grade 30 years at Erlanger. I think it was called A.J. Linneman in Erlanger schools.
I know some teachers that went there.
Yeah.
I taught in Covington for 31 years at Ninth District.
Virginia Chapman.
Yes.
She was a
Yes.
chairman of the school board, and she was a fighter for the schools too.
She was.
Yeah, she was my good friend, bless her heart. I remember her well, and all the other ladies well. I was just telling the ladies back there in I think it was in the 1980s, the Kentucky Education Association gave me an award, not as the outstanding teacher in the state, but as the outstanding citizen in the state promoting public education. And so I was glad to be a part of it. I was taught at Erlanger, Advanced Government and American History, and was president of the Education Association as a first-year teacher in 1970. Well, you all take care. God bless you, and thanks for being teachers. We love you. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. I'm glad the teachers are my friends. Bye-bye now.
She's still a good one, too. She's a Kroger person.
Take care. Bye-bye.